Well, what's up guys? This is Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and as you can see, the sun is out. We're finally kind of drying up a little bit. There's a million things that I need to be doing around here, but it's just so muddy after 3-4 days of rain, and I don't know, the grand total close to 10 inches of rain. Everything is just so muddy. I literally can't do 90% of the chores I need to do around here right now because it's just so muddy. It's a mess. And I kind of want to get out here in the garden. I'm going to call it official. I'm calling it. Today is, what is today? I think it's September 25th. Whew, and that sun just got really bright. I'm calling it. Today is the last day. I'm calling it. I'm calling it quits. Today's the last day for the outside garden. That sun is really bright. The storms just pretty much just wiped everything out that I had left growing out here. So I've been kind of nursing along my okra patch and the corn. But as you can see behind me, the corn just got murdered during all that rain. It's just all laying down. Some of it's starting to stand back up. It's a mess. I'm thinking now it's just gonna go into a compost pile. The okra, oh, I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. All that rain and all the wind and everything just blew all the corn and the okra over. I could probably stand it back up. I could probably harvest some more okra, but I'm calling it quits. I'm gonna pull it all out today. Probably not gonna compost the okra because the stalks are like this big around and it would take them 2 years to break down. But we'll pull the corn out, we'll compost it. I'll pull the okra out, probably just pile it up outside the garden and let it break down out there. So, how'd the sweet corn do? You know, if you remember, a couple months ago we planted, Houston and I came out and planted a bunch of sweet corn. And I showed you guys a little update. Look at the lighting out here, isn't it just fantastic? There we go, much better. I showed you the sweet corn, did a little sweet corn update when Dutch was here. So overall, how did it do? Well, let's go break off a couple ears and show you. Before we do this, I want to explain. Corn has always been my nemesis. Like, I rarely ever grow corn, and the only reason I grew this sweet corn is because Mark from Bumblebee Junction sent it to us and wanted me to try it out. I usually don't grow corn. Sweet corn is cheap in the spring, like 4 or 5 ears for $1. You can just find a good sweet corn grower and just buy it all at once, cut it up, freeze it, do whatever you want to with it, preserve it. Because corn's my nemesis. We got a few good ears off of here. Don't get me wrong. We did get a few good ears. Most of them not so much. Check this out. So this is about how corn usually goes for me. Obviously this is way past its prime. Terrible example on that ear right there. Let's pull another one off. Check it out. Just tiny ears, worms get to it. So I don't mind a few worms on corn. When I do grow corn, you know, say this is a very small ear of corn obviously, but usually you'll get, you know, 6 or 8 inches of good corn and have an inch or two of worm at the end. Well, I'll just come in there, cut that top off, and then all the rest of that ear is good. But we went through a pretty severe, not drought, but month and a half with very little rain. So even when I was fertilizing the corn, it just wasn't doing what it was supposed to do because it wasn't getting the water it needed. But it wasn't a total loss. I posted a video on Instagram yesterday of the best little sweet corn ear. My favorite way, when I do grow corn, my favorite way to eat corn, sweet corn, is to come out to the garden, pick it off the stalk, open it up, and just eat it right there. That sweet corn straight from the garden is amazing. That is like my favorite way of eating fresh corn. So this right here was about the average size ear corn for us on this fall corn. I've never grown corn in the fall, so it was just an experiment. But they kind of turned out small, which is probably mostly my fault. Nothing wrong with the corn seed that Bumblebee sent us. that Mark sent us. I guess I can call him Mark. I don't have to call him Bumblebee. But this is about what I got. Maybe we'll try again in the spring with some, maybe we won't. So like I said, it's not a great harvest, obviously. Look at this little guy. Not the best, but the taste, oh my goodness. Like I said, fresh sweet corn, straight off the ear, straight out of the garden. The taste is phenomenal. I mean, I really wish I had about 100 big, fat, juicy ears of corn. I'd come out here every day, eat it straight off the cob. I may have to get better at growing sweet corn. I mean, like I said, I usually just buy sweet corn because it's super cheap in the spring. We got a lot of farmers around the area. They'll have a whole truckload of sweet corn. But having that ability to walk out here, you know, I talk about this all the time. There's so many things. I grow a garden for this right here, for this half rotten, bug infested ear of sweet corn. You can't get any better. That's what I want to get through to people. Gardening is work. This stuff is work. I mean, it can be disappointing when you spend all this time to get, you know, something like this that's really not any good. But those times when your garden produces well and you have, you know, really good year for corn, or a really good year for okra, or a mediocre year for tomato, whatever it is, that feeling of that satisfaction of this is something that I grew, and the taste and the quality is so much different than anything you can buy in the grocery store. I don't care if it's just a regular old run-of-the-mill Walmart or your all organic, you know, whatever name brand grocery store. When you grew it yourself, there's just something different, you know. It just tastes different. It just this feeling of pride, this feeling of satisfaction is just, it's almost overwhelming sometimes, you know. If you've ever grown a garden and put in all the work and had a huge harvest, and then you spent the time to bring all your harvest in, can it, you know, and this time of year in the fall, go look at your canning closet or whatever you got, you know, your cellar, your root cellar, wherever you put all your harvest. That feeling of accomplishment makes it all worthwhile. From, you spend time from, say, April through September growing all that stuff, and it's a lot of work, a lot of time, and quite honestly, some years it probably costs you a lot more money than it would just to go to the grocery store and buy it. But that feeling of accomplishment of, you know, all this started from one little bitty handful of seeds. And yeah, it didn't turn out to be the greatest corn harvest ever, but you know, it could have, had I taken a little better care of it. It's mostly my fault, it's not the corn's fault, but it could have turned into a wonderful, huge harvest, and maybe it will next time. That's the thing about gardening, is some years are not the greatest. Some years you have an overabundance and you have more food than you can ever eat, and you're giving stuff away for days and weeks and months, and it's just amazing. I can't explain the feeling. So if you've never gone out and grown your own food, try it. Try something small. Start with one little small raised bed in your backyard. One little small raised bed will blow your mind at how much food it will produce. Say something 4 foot by 8 feet. Start small. Grow something, you know, grow some lettuce, grow some spinach, grow a couple tomato plants, a squash plant. I promise you, you'll be amazed at the difference, and you'll be amazed at the feeling of satisfaction. Anyways, let's get to work. So the next, I guess I'm getting old, guys. The next plan of action, get out here, tear all this old corn out. We're gonna pile it up on a compost pile. Get out here, tear up this, look at this mess. This mess of okra, get it out of here. September 25th, 2018, I'm calling it the last official gardening day for my outdoor garden. Obviously, we've still got the high tunnel back there. We'll go all the way through the winter in there, hopefully, but it's been a successful season. Probably mostly in part due to this Premier One permanent fencing that I put around my garden. This stuff right here has been amazing. It's turned off, it's not on right now. You can even see it. Electric netting, it's similar to their poultry netting, but this has been the changing factor for my garden this year. The last several years I've struggled with deer, and this is not an 8-foot tall permanent fence. It's no different than the poultry netting that you see on everyone else's channel. Premier One's permanent fence saved my garden without a doubt. The last couple of years I've really struggled with deer in my garden, and this year, zero. After I put this fence up, I never once had a deer in my garden. So go check out Premier One. They did send me this fence earlier this year, but I truly believe this saved my garden without a doubt. I've struggled with deer, almost gave up on the outdoor garden, and even had deer going in my high tunnel. But this stuff right here, 100% without a doubt, electric permanent fencing saved my garden 100%. Well, that's it for the sweet corn patch. The okra trees, I guess I should say, may be a little bit more difficult than the sweet corn was. These things are giant. Okra always amazes me. Nice gloves, huh? Okra amazes me. It starts off such a tiny little seed, and you got this little plant that seems like it's never gonna grow. And the next thing you know, you've got these giant trees. I'll go grab one and show you. Here's what I'm talking about. This thing, look at it. I really wish I could grow like an apple tree. Wish there was an apple tree or a pear or peach tree or something that I could grow this fast. Okra just blows my mind at how fast it grows. Might as well be a weed. The only thing that grows this fast normally is weeds. But look at the size of the stem. Look at this thing. Huge. I'm pretty certain some of you doubted me earlier this spring when I said I was only going to plant 12 okra plants. Well, obviously 12 okra plants was more okra than my family could eat. Whew. I guess one positive thing about all the rain is I can actually come out here and pull up the okra. Typically I'm out here with a hatchet cutting these stalks up because they're so big and leave the root ball in the ground. Not today, it just pulls right up. When I say these are massive plants in just a few months, I'm not kidding. I don't even know how this is possible. Look at the size of the stem on this. I mean, I can't even reach around it. My hand will not wrap, my fingers will not wrap around it. Look at this. My hand will not wrap around this okra plant. Think, this was one tiny little seed in about April. Here we are, September. That would take years for a tree to grow that much. Well, there you have it. The okra and the sweet corn are out. There's still a couple of Houston's watermelons laying on the vine out there, believe it or not. We'll get those picked up. Whoo! And that big, tall, nasty mess of field corn over there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I guess I'll just pile it on the compost pile too. So, that's it. Gardening season 2018 is officially in the books. Had some highs, had some lows, had some high winds, had some high rains, had some dry days. Anyways, it's been a lot of fun. I love gardening. I'm not quite as serious about it as I used to be. I've really backed off the last several years. But I've learned I don't need to grow as much as I used to. I don't need to grow as much as I want to. We can only eat so much, and we spend so much time, or I spend so much time out here when I grow this garden over what I should, when I grow way more than what I need to. I spend way more time out here, then it kind of loses its fun. I enjoy the garden, but it is work. I enjoy Houston, Emily, Weston, and my wife DJ, and all of their activities and all the things they like to do. So in order for me, it's been a learning process over the last several years. In order for me to enjoy the garden, it can't turn into an all-day labor of love. So I've reduced. And what I've really learned is that I really enjoy the raised beds inside the high tunnel. So I'm thinking next year I may come out here and come down the side of the garden, put in some more raised beds. Well, you can't see that, can you? Put in some raised beds down the outside of the garden, or outside of the high tunnel. And I'm really wanting to kind of focus this winter on getting the chickens moved over here. Get the chickens something more permanent where I can rotate the chickens around the garden. Because as you can see right now, there's a lot of grass in here, there's a lot of weeds. I want to rotate the chickens through different areas of the garden. So that's kind of one of my goals for the winter. It's just something different, something to try. Get better at composting. I've got several compost piles going over here, plus all the hay and goat manure and all that I'm composting. I need to do a better job of showing you guys that stuff, because compost is a huge deal in those raised beds, and even in the outside garden, compost is very important. But anyways, guys, it's hot and it's muggy out here, but we're drying out. Still too muddy to get a lot done. I walked in the house a while ago, and my wife I guess she kind of tell I was bored because I can't really get on the equipment, can't get on the tractors and stuff. She's like, well, you think there's any fish in the creek today? I was like, I love you, you're awesome. I like the way you think. So I guess we're gonna go pull the kayak out and float down the creek one more time before the water goes down. Yeah, so anyways, guys, that's all I've got for the day. Just a lot of rambling, but garden season 2018, at least for the outdoor garden, is officially over for us. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a great day, and as always, we'll see you on the next video.